Thanks for joining. Today we're going to have a quick 3RNet refresher. So 3RNet, as many of you might know, is the Rural Recruitment and Retention Network. 3RNet has been around since about the mid-90s, and it was designed as kind of a grassroots effort to help connect healthcare workforce to rural and underserved communities. And North Dakota, fun fact, was actually one of the states that helped to get 3RNet started. So it was really an effort to shine a light on rural places around the country. And 3RNet has been used in the state of North Dakota since its inception, essentially. So I know many of you have, your organizations have been using 3RNet. And I know there's also sometimes turnover in who uses 3RNet within your organization. And sometimes if there's turnover, the information on how to use it, what it's good for, what are some of the best practices, sometimes that can get lost. And so I wanted to have this session today to show the basic usage of 3RNet, how it can be used on a weekly basis for you at your facility, and then open it up for any questions. Maybe there's some questions out there. What is this? How do I even log in? What do I look for every week? What am I supposed to be doing with this site? No question is a bad question. And so as we're going through, please jot down any questions you might have, and we will make sure to get those questions addressed. First, to kick off, Mark, are you there? I have Mark Barclay from 3RNet. He's one of the staff members for 3RNet. And another fun fact, Mark used to be in my position at the University of North Dakota Center for Rural Health. And he moved on to become a staff member with 3RNet. And that's when I joined around 2014. And so, Mark, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much, Stacey, for having me. My name is Mark Barclay. I am the Director of Member Services at 3RNet. As Stacey mentioned before that, I was in her role at the UND Center for Rural Health, and I've been with 3RNet ever since, so about 8 years. And I still live in Grand Forks, so it was definitely a good weekend with the Vikings winning and UND football winning. So you're catching me on a good day. So yeah, we'll run through 3RNet, and Stacey, just let me know how I can help.
Awesome. So Mark, as he mentioned, is the Director of Member Services. And if anyone has had a question that I have not been able to answer, or probably the most common thing that I hear, well, aside from people not remembering their passwords and needing to get that reset, which is totally fine, I do that too. If you have a changeover in staff and someone has been posting jobs for your facility before, but now you're new to the role and you have your own email and you want your own login, Mark has the ability actually to move jobs over from one account to another, so that there's a seamless transition and that you're able to continue using the language that has been used before, if that's preferable to you, and have all of those jobs transferred over to one account rather than having to log in under someone else's email or that sort of thing. So just to get started, I wanted to just open it up and navigate you guys through the website. So when you log in to 3RNet, you're going to see this screen. And so I have a test account. Actually, Mark is going to laugh at what test account I have. This is actually the person who was in our role even before Mark. So so I keep my test account as someone who used to be here. So when you log in as an employer, you're going to be prompted to click on your dashboard right away. And when you get to your dashboard, mine's going to be empty because whenever I post jobs as a test, I always make sure to delete them so we don't have candidates maybe barking up the wrong tree. So when you log in and see your dashboard, this is basically what you're going to be seeing. And the tabs at the top can help you navigate what you're looking for. So first and foremost, opportunities. So if you are looking to log on and get your jobs out there, which is something, if you haven't done that already, definitely this is the part for you. So when you click on job opportunities and all opportunities, you'll see right now I don't have anything posted. So if I wanted to post a job, the add opportunity feature is where you would go first. And so I'm going to walk you through this. For some of you, it might be a repeat. Oh, I already know this. Hopefully you'll pick up a few tidbits about making your job the most effective as you can. And so in your job title, this is where you can be creative. You want to state what it is, of course. You can say, let me see. Macville, North Dakota is seeking a registered nurse. So you could put anything about the job title here. And then under profession, you have many professions to choose from, as you can see here. North Dakota, if you are rural, urban underserved, mental health, or a VA facility, we allow the opportunity to post for free. You can post as many jobs as you want. So the profession, as it says in the title, registered nurse. What type of employment is this? Is it full-time, part-time PRN, or is this an internship or job shadow? I'm going to say full-time employment here in the state of North Dakota. And it's showing up as Grand Forks because when I registered my account, it's automatically going to fill in the city that I registered, just to stay in line with what I'm posting. Sam, help me. I don't remember the zip code for Backville.
58380.
Thanks, Sam.
Yep.
And then the county is Nelson County. So
Yep.
just very quick opportunity information here. One thing I do want to note is, let's say you're looking for, I'm going to throw a wrench into things. You're looking for a primary care physician in Macville, North Dakota. And you're open to having applications from a family medicine physician or an internal medicine physician. Let me see here. I can find it. Okay, so it has many different types of physicians here. And so I'm going to click family medicine, but I'm also going to click internal medicine, and you'll see how this shows up later. This is a way for you to post multiple jobs easily at one time without having to go back in and recreate the job. And so it allows you to choose a couple of different professions here. Just keep in mind when you're writing the job details that you can go back into the jobs and personalize them depending on the position, or you can keep them general so that it applies to both family medicine or internal medicine. Another example of this is if you're looking for a nurse practitioner and you're open to an NP with family medicine or emergency medicine, you would have two different job postings that way. Or a nurse practitioner, but you'd also be open to looking at a physician assistant. So you could choose NP and PA in both of these and have one job create two different jobs. And so then the job details, this is where you can actually find a lot of great information online and actually through the 3RNet resources, which I'll show you in a little while. But the job details, this is where you want to help the candidate see what their work life could be like if they come and work for you. And sort of a few things to avoid would be laundry listing the duties that no matter where this person goes, if they're a family medicine physician, it would be the same no matter where. So one good example is ability to lift 50 pounds. Do we need to spend our job detail listing that out? Probably not. So just a note here that this is a place where you can highlight and feature maybe more of the culture of your organization, more of the details about how this person would be a member of the team, and not so much about must be ATLS certified, must be able to lift 50 pounds, that sort of thing. So just some things to keep in mind. Just to keep moving on, I'm just going to put this here for now. So then on this, and I'm taking a long time to do this first job posting, because the first time that you're posting a job will take the longest. Every job after this, I will show you, is very simple. It's pretty much as easy as copy and paste, change the job title, change the profession. So the time you spend on your first job is time well spent, because it's information about your facility, about your community, that you can use in every single job posting that you have. So here is where this additional information, where it talks about health professional shortage area, community type, service population. So we're just going to go down the list here. So it's a rural community. Our community population is less than 2,500, but our service area, where people are traveling from to see us at our facility, is about, let's say, 3,000. Employer type, I am a critical access hospital. Employment type, we're looking for someone to work full-time. And yes, I'm going to allow J1 visas, because I put that, that's another feature where 3RNet features these jobs and has candidates who can also select that they're looking for a J1 visa. So that's one feature that you can seek jobs and do a targeted search for. Not looking for someone to do telehealth, because I want them to be in our community. And there is a loan repayment program that J1 visa candidates can apply for at our facility. So I'm going to select all of that, and then I'm going to do save and add detail. So then, as you see, these options right here were not available before I selected save and add detail. These were, and once I hit save and add detail, these other tabs showed up for me. So here is where I can talk about my facility. I can, this is where the information will flow over from one job to the next. I'm just going to use my example, because Sam is a good sport. Nelson County Health System. I don't have a parent organization. So employer overview, this is, something where if you have this on your website, that you want to use language similar to what's on your website. If you wanted to showcase any awards that your facility has had, or any maybe local features that your facility has had about the type of employer you are, really giving a sense of what type of facility a new candidate is going to be looking for. Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot for this apply now link, because when we were at our recent 3RNet conference, you had some really good talking points about the importance of this apply now link, and maybe some stories, or a story, for example, to share about maybe what not to do for an apply now link. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Stacey is mentioning, there are multiple ways that when you post your jobs on 3RNet, that health professionals can kind of reach out and interact with you. And then also, as Stacey's going to cover, how you can kind of proactively reach out to them. But one of the most clear ways, obviously, that we're probably going to need to take the step with every health professional that ultimately we would hire would be a kind of formal application. So you can have that link right on 3RNet so that health professionals can see it and go directly into your application process. So as part of my role over the last number of years here at 3RNet, I've been working with kind of small hospitals around the country doing what we call recruitment for retention readiness assessments. And as part of that assessment process, we kind of gauge their application process and their different kind of web postings and those sorts of things. And one thing that's really stuck out, especially if you're looking for say a younger demographic of candidates. So maybe if it's somebody right out of training, or maybe the first 5 or 10 years they've been practicing, making it as easy as possible for them to apply is really, really important. So I've worked with a number of hospitals, for example, that still maybe require a paper application. And we've heard from many different residents and folks in training that, it sounds kind of silly, but, having to print an application, fill it out with pen and paper and mail it back in can definitely be a barrier for some people. And again, I'm probably in that generation where, anything that you can do online, anything that you can do to remove barriers is super helpful. So I would take a look at your application process, see how folks can apply to you. Is there a quick online form where even they can just reach out, attach a CV, get more information? Also maybe check how easy it is to contact you via phone. We also know that health professionals are using mobile devices a lot. So just making it as easy as possible for health professionals to reach out to you.
Thanks for sharing that example. And another thing I'll note, because I've run into this personally with some sites around North Dakota, this right here looks like a small thing, but there's actually some websites of healthcare facilities that aren't secure, and therefore their website starts with HTTP instead of HTTPS. The S, I'm assuming, means secure. And so I'm not actually even able to post their website on 3RNet if I'm posting their jobs for them, because their website's not even secure. And so that in itself is a barrier to really look at. And, if you don't have a web person, there's tutorials online that you can find out how to do this. Reach out if we can connect you at all, but making sure that there are no barriers. Mark just told us last week he doesn't even have a printer at his house. I do for work purposes, but other than that, I don't think I would have one either. And so kind of think about that as you're posting these jobs. And not everyone has the features that maybe you assume they do. So making sure that website is good to go, no barriers. It's worth the time maybe that it takes to ensure that's good to go. Okay, so we've gone over everything up until this point. So employer size, I'm going to say we have 55 employees. Work schedule for a physician, I'm going to say it's mostly weekdays, but there's going to be calls, so I'm going to call it varied. Designation type, the site we're talking about is in a health professional shortage area, so we're going to put select that. Internal code is exactly what it says. If you have a process internally for how you post jobs, maybe you post jobs on a number of different platforms. And if you need to check in on that job, or if you fill that job and you need to make sure it comes down, this would be a way to use that internal code so that it's coded the same way in the event that maybe you have this posted across multiple platforms. But as you can see, not required. Social information, most facilities have Facebook pages. If you're not on LinkedIn, I would definitely encourage that as well. I've been doing some interviews with newly graduated health professionals, and every single one of them has told me they're using LinkedIn to get connected with employers. It's kind of like Facebook in the boardroom is what it's been described to me. So Facebook is maybe more for social connections. LinkedIn is maybe for that business connection. So I found some great candidates through LinkedIn as well. And then of course your employer website, making sure that you're putting your best foot forward on your website, making sure it looks up to date, that it's easy for applicants to find what your job openings are, and listing that there. For contact information, once you create an account, this information will automatically fill in. If for some reason, let's say you want them to reach out to person A for nursing openings, but person B for physician openings, you can adjust this contact information based on the job. So edit that as you see fit. And then unique selling points. I'm going to get into this in a little bit when I talk about the resources, but the selling points that will show up here are based on the 50 APGAR factors in the factors to market your rural community. And so you can choose from a list here and select up to 5. And I'm going to go through each of those in a little while. Okay, community details. If you have a really good community website, maybe Job Development Authority, maybe you have a really good slide deck or video, YouTube video about your community, putting all of that information here. Just assume that they've never been to your community before. What would you want to see? Would you want to read 5 paragraphs, or would you want to see photos of the community where you might be going, or maybe a combo? So good place where you can link or to photos or videos. You can put that here. And then everybody wants to know about compensation, right? So that's the question. Do we put it there, or do we not put it there? And so it's really up to you on what your practice is for your facility. I've heard both ways. More often than not from candidates, I'm hearing that they won't look at a job unless there's a salary posted. So do with that as you wish. You can select the range. You can select negotiable, however you want. And then you can put in there what your overview is. How is that salary comprised? Is it made up of call time? Is it made up of RVUs? Is it a straight salary? How is your compensation made up? And then what are the benefits? And then education requirements. Of course, this is where you can be a little more specific on what you're looking for. Let's say you're looking for a medical director, you might have different requirements here than someone who's coming in to do clinic from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And then there's another opportunity for selling points here too, and you can see a list of selling points. So once you do that, save changes. And then now on my opportunity list, I actually have 2 opportunities posted, because remember, under the profession, I selected 2 different types of physicians. If I had written the original job post to be specific to family medicine, then what I want to do is go into the internal medicine job, click on the green action button and select edit, and it'll take me into the job, and then I can change anything within this position, and it won't change the family medicine posting. So when I'm done with my changes, I save changes and go back. And now let's say, okay, I did my physician job openings, and now I want to post a nurse practitioner job opening. Here again, very easy. I click the green action button, and instead of edit, I would hit post similar. And that's going to copy and paste a job for me where I can select, let's say, a nurse practitioner job opening instead. So I'm going to go for nurse practitioner family medicine, and then I'm going to change my job posting detail. Nothing has changed for my employer detail. Nothing has changed for my community. Maybe I'll change a different, I'll change the salary range and maybe some of the education requirements here. And then I'm going to save changes. Now my 3rd position has been posted. So you can see how easy it is once you've done the work of the very first job posting. Super easy to get those additional jobs posted. Mark, am I missing anything or any notes you wanted to mention for job postings?
I think the only thing I would add, Stacy, so as far as great points on all of the content, as far as what happens when your job is posted, so it gets out to candidates in a few different ways. So it certainly is posted live on our website, so 3rnet.org. I think there's just about 7,000 jobs active over the country. all across the country on 3RNet right now. But when your job is posted, also the newest jobs are displayed on our homepage. So if you're ever perusing our homepage, you'll see the latest jobs that have been posted all over the country. So a lot of times you can see on Stacey's screen here, there's a column for how many times that job has been viewed. A lot of times when your job is initially posted, you'll see kind of a bump in views right away, because again, it does have some more exposure being on our homepage. The other way that jobs reach our health professionals is, so when health professionals register with us, they go into a candidate database, and that's the database that Stacey kind of makes referrals to you from, which I'm sure she's going to show you. But each of those health professionals creates an account with us and can sign up for email alerts. So every time you post a job, so for Stacey's example here, family medicine and internal medicine, as soon as you post that job would also be emailed to all of the family medicine and internal medicine physicians interested in working in North Dakota that have signed up for our daily email alerts. So by posting your jobs, you're not only reaching those folks that are kind of actively on 3RNet, looking for jobs, but also we see a lot of passive job seekers, looking at those emails and kind of reaching out, even if they're not actively looking. Sometimes that email in their inbox can really trigger, some good follow-up. And that's why, as Stacey mentioned, that job title is really important, because that job title is probably the primary piece of information they see in that email notice that they get.
Great, thanks for those quick notes. And so once you have your jobs posted, the important piece of making sure you're checking in on your 3RNet account weekly, if not more often, is referrals of candidates who match your open job positions are sent to your 3RNet account onto your dashboard. So if we click dashboard, summary dashboard again, you'll see now I have my 3 opportunities that I just posted. The next tab at the top is referrals. And so every Tuesday, there are new referrals sent directly to your 3RNet account, and they'll show up here for any candidate that matches your open position and has chosen North Dakota as one of their states of interest. So the more ways you have your job opening posted and the more job openings you have here, the more referrals you're going to get. And so you have the option as an employer then to reach out to these candidates. So the information that will be available, of course, is their name and their profession. It will have their email address and then their phone number. And then if they have selected to upload a CV, you'll have a link to get that CV. And so if this is something where you're looking at these referrals and saying, I really want to reach out to this person, you can implement any of your recruitment and retention practices from your own email. It's not something where you can email directly from 3RNet at this point, but you can grab their email, put it into your own email server, and get that initial email sent out. Just a note about referrals is that they are active on your account for 7 days. And then when the new referrals come, it kind of switches over. So you can take the list of candidates if you want to have a little bit more time to reach out to them, or maybe you have your own candidate tracking system, or even a simple Excel spreadsheet of their name, their profession, when you reached out to them, when you're scheduled for follow-up, anything like that. You can copy and paste them into your own candidate management system, because after 7 days, those referrals will go away and a new list will show up on your candidate referrals. If the candidate has logged in within the past week, you might see repeat names showing up in your referrals. So you'll see new candidates that have registered with 3RNet in the past 7 days, and you'll also see candidates who have logged back in to their account show up. So it is possible for you to see some of the same names coming up if they're continuing to log in, if that makes sense. Okay. The other part of the dashboard that I referred to when I was going over the job posting is the Recruitment for Retention Resource Center. This is especially useful if you have someone new to your organization or maybe new to recruitment and retention altogether. This is a great place to get started. Recruitment for Retention guides, you can see part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. If you click on it, you can see all of the different pieces sectioned out so that it's not such a long, overwhelming document. So it's sectioned out so that you can focus on a certain area or piece of recruitment and retention, and you can download that, use it however you want to, implement whatever factors or points, I guess, make sense for your organization. So you can see that's part 1, part 2. Here is part 3, and this is available to everybody who has a 3RNet account. And then part 4. Okay, and then the factors to market your community. This is what I was talking about. There's two different parts where you can put unique selling points for your community. So overall, this is a product of the Community AppGar project that has been implemented in North Dakota since 2010, and then assisted by 3RNet to make this more publicly available, even if facilities haven't directly taken part in the Community AppGar study. So depending on what type of facility you are, if it's a rural community, if it's a community health center or a rural health clinic, you can select whichever one is most relevant to you. And then within each of these booklets, you can see, I don't know if I want to download the whole thing right now. Are you guys still seeing the screen? Okay. So the table of contents, I won't go through this in too much detail, but definitely take a few minutes to look this up as well. But the factors are all broken out into 5 different categories. So there's geographic, economic, scope of practice, medical support, and hospital and community support. And what I like most about this booklet is that it not only discusses what the factor is, but it tells you how you might be able to address this in your particular community. So let's take the access to a larger community. It goes through what does it mean, why is it important, advantages of this, challenges of this, and then how you would address it perhaps in your own community. So some of these have really, really good ideas for solutions that you can use right away in your communities. And speaking of that, there is a whole Recruitment for Retention Academy coming up starting October 6th. Mark, do you want to give us a quick preview of that?
Yeah, so we do a webinar series every fall that we call the 3RNet Academy. So as Stacy mentioned, that will be starting in roughly, well, it'll be 4 weeks from tomorrow, I believe, 3 weeks from tomorrow. But anyway, this year we're going to be doing 6 sessions. We have some really awesome speakers. Everything is really meant to be kind of hands-on. So this year we're going to be kind of walking through, you know, creating and examining a recruitment process all the way from, you know, planning and preparation to retention, onboarding, etc. So we've got some really awesome content ready for you guys. And I think one of the coolest things about the Academy is I just looked at the registration lists not too long ago, since this is something that's offered to you know, everybody across the country, not just North Dakota. We end up usually having about 500 or 600 rural healthcare organizations across the country join the Academy. So, you know, certainly I hope that you guys can gain some insight from the content that we present as 3RNet and the speakers, but also it's just a really powerful way to collaborate and kind of network with your peers across the country. A lot of times, you know, you might feel really isolated in your rural community, kind of being the one person shop doing recruitment, retention, and a million other things. So it's always kind of nice and refreshing to take some time and be able to, chat with those folks, and interact with those folks from all across the country that are kind of living and breathing what you do as well. So hopefully you guys can join us for that.
Yes, and I just put a link in the chat box. The Center for Rural Health sponsors the state of North Dakota each year to attend the 3RNet Recruitment for Attention Academy. And so if you just go to academy.3rnet.org, select that you want to register, and then when it's time to check out, just punch in the code CRH22, and it takes the cost from $500 to $0. And you can use that for as many people in your organization as you feel would benefit from this. And you can take part in the discussions either live or head back to the Academy website after the fact and see the recordings. So we know everybody's busy, and it's not realistic to think everyone's going to join us live on the day that it's happening. So just registering in and of itself gives you access to all of those recordings. So hopefully you'll be able to take some information from those sessions and help with your recruitment and retention plans. Okay, I think the only other thing is if you have not looked at what jobs look like to potential candidates, once you're on your, if you're on your dashboard, you can just select public site, and then it'll have you log in. It might not have you log in again, but it'll show you what the public facing site looks like for you. So let's say I'm a physician, family medicine physician, and I want to see what jobs are open in North Dakota. And so you'll be able to see what a job looks like, and you can find your own if you're wanting to see what your own looks like, and take a look at what this looks like. So job details about the employer. So remember when we went through the community information, the employer selling points, the employer overview. So this is how it looks to the candidates that are looking. And those points that we talked about at the bottom of that first page, so J1, visa eligible, loan repayment, those are some of the things that will show up as featured components of each job. So that's why that's important there. And then the contact information will always show the employer contact, and then it'll also have my name on there, kind of as almost a backup, I guess you could say, for who the coordinator is for the state of North Dakota. So I definitely encourage you to look and see what your job looks like to employees and to job seekers, so that if you do want to change something, you want to view it on your phone, click on the Apply Now link, see what it does. You can certainly test it out. There's no rule against not, testing it out. Here you saw the primary care physician that we just posted for as a test. So I'll go in and make sure we take that out. If you ever get stuck on the public facing page, you're like, how do I get back to my dashboard? I just want to see my jobs again. You have a little figure at the top here, and you can just click on your name, and then it'll prompt you to go back to your dashboard. So that is the overview of 3RNet, how to use it, how to post jobs, how to view your referrals. I think the other part that I wanted to go over was reaching out to candidates, but I did want to pause really quickly to see if we did have any questions from you guys, or if you wanted us to show you anything on the website that would be helpful for you. Feel free to speak up.
Stacy, I'm just kind of curious. This is a great tool, but what kind of traffic do you see on the job seeker end of things? Is there any metrics or any numbers that you see in terms of how many people are using this site to look for positions?
Yeah, thanks, Leland. It's almost like I prompted you to say that, but I didn't. So thanks for the question. I actually had this state impact report ready to share with you guys. So I'll show that now. So this is for the state of North Dakota, and it's for the time period between September 1 of last year to just last month, August 31st. So in North Dakota, we had 343 jobs posted or updated. We had 459,000 job views. So this is what Mark was talking about, you guys. This is not necessarily candidates that have selected North Dakota as one of their states of interest. They're still taking a look at your jobs to see maybe if that's a place that I might want to go. I'm not going to put it that I'm interested specifically in North Dakota. These are those passive job seekers. These could even be, and Mark, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe these are even views from people who haven't gone on to create a 3RNet account, but have seen the little bit that they can see without logging in. So that still counts as a job view. So the 459,000 people are seeing 343 jobs in North Dakota. Health professionals have logged in that have selected North Dakota as a state of interest 711 times. Brand new health professionals, 102. And then we've had 26 brand new employers, and then over 6,000 referrals have been sent out, meaning the candidates match the open jobs in North Dakota. So over 6,000 referrals. So these are just some of the numbers for the state of North Dakota. And then as a whole, this is the annual report from 3RNet. So this is as a whole, like all of the network coordinators. Just about 4,000 total registrations from job seekers. We've had 1,300 physician registrations, and then 2,600 other health professional registrations, and then breaks down the type of physician registrations and the type of health professional registrations. So we're getting some really good numbers. Just like anyone in the healthcare industry, 3RNet experienced kind of the Great Resignation probably last summer. And when I say we experienced that, it was where the job postings were going up and the candidate registrations were lower than that or going down. We've since evened out a little bit. Physicians remain our highest job seeker on this site. So good to look at the breakdown there. Lots of efforts going on behalf of 3RNet to interact with more candidates. They're going to all of the national conferences. They're going to FMX in Kansas City. They're going to a specific VA event. They're going to, I think, Armed Services event to advertise 3RNet and get candidate registration. So lots of efforts going on there. And then as far as referral totals, this is not just North Dakota. Again, this is 3RNet as a whole. Look at these referrals, just amazing number of referrals to be sent out to the accounts of employers, so they can view them, look at them, and reach out to these candidates. And then of course, placements. When we have a placement, at least in North Dakota, and it's an effort across 3RNet to get everybody reporting, we're looking, this is self-reporting numbers. So placement totals are based on who has told us that they have found a placement because of 3RNet. So this is October 1, 2020 to September 30, 21. And so 2,000 total placements from this site. And then types of placements, of course, are broken down here. And if you're ever interested in looking at this, the reports are on your 3RNet account. You can look at this as closely as you want to. Hold I'll show you where it is. Public site. And then if you go to, let me see, is it on this one? Yeah. About us, and then annual reports. You can find the annual reports there from the past few years. Okay. All right. Thanks, Leland, for that question. And the last point I'll make is candidate reach out. So you have all these referrals coming to your 3RNet account. What do we do with them? I've had some comments from people, well, I emailed them and they just never got back to me. So I would challenge you to think about the emails that you get and which ones appeal to you and which ones do you feel like responding to and which ones do you feel like kind of get lost in the clutter. So number one is looking at what your emails look like. What are they saying? Are they sounding like a place you would want to work? Is it sounding like something that you would want to click on? So that's first and foremost. But then for me anyway, I need to be reached out to maybe a couple different times before I take notice. It might mean that the introductory email is the first step. And in that introductory email, you're going to say, I will plan to call you on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central. I look forward to talking with you. And then following up at that time that you said you're going to follow up. And if they don't answer, according to my email, hopefully you got the email that I sent you, just following up. I'd love to talk with you a little bit further. I saw your information on 3RNet. I really liked what I saw on your CV. Making sure that they know that it's not just a static call, that you looked at their information, you know what unique points you want to talk about with them, and don't be afraid to do some texting. I've had some really good luck with sending text messages back and forth to candidates, and it's so easy to set up a quick meeting via text versus going back and forth through email. So there's lots of tips and information on the 3RNet resources page that can elaborate much better than I'm doing right now. And there's also a lot of resources online that can help you too. But if you're ever looking for some help, let me know and I can point you in the direction of the resources we have here on the site. Okay, any other questions I can answer or you have for Mark or about 3RNet usage in general? Okay, and the last point, I know I said this already, the last point I'll make. So fall is definitely career fair season. I have 4 or 5 different job fairs that I'm headed to over the next 2 months. And before I go to every job fair, I pull a list of active job openings from 3RNet. And so not only is posting your job important to get the word out to candidates across the country that might be seeking jobs in North Dakota, but it definitely helps me as well as I'm going out to these job fairs at colleges and universities on behalf of the employers in the state of North Dakota. And I'm pointing candidates, I'm pointing those people from those job fairs to go to 3RNet to look at your job and to contact you that way. So if your job's not there, I'm not able to promote it for you and I'm not able to direct candidates to your exact facility. So just another point to make sure if you don't have somebody doing 3RNet at your site, let me know and I can get some jobs posted on your behalf. It's definitely recommended that you have someone at your site posting these jobs so that you can keep better track and make it part of your recruitment and retention process. But of course, if you need some help and you just don't have the manpower at this point, I can certainly post on your behalf and get those jobs active. So this week, Thursday, I'm headed to NDSU and they always have a wonderful job fair with lots of radiology techs, lots of physical therapists, lots of pharmacy students. So make sure that you get your jobs posted so I can be promoting on your behalf. And so with that, unless anyone has any questions, I will wrap up for the day. But please reach out to me through email if I can help you or anyone else at your facility kind of one-on-one if you'd prefer that, just to make sure you're using 3RNet to the best of its ability. And it's definitely a great tool to have in your toolbox. So I hope this helped, and I hope that this helps you be more comfortable using 3RNet in your weekly practice. So let's see if any more.
And Stacy, I would just have one last minute comment for the group.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So first of all, thank you guys for having me. Thank you for inviting me, Stacy. And again, I live and reside in North Dakota, and I've lived in North Dakota my whole life. But now working for a national organization, I get to work with all of our 3RNet coordinators from across the country. And just kind of recognizing for you guys that you're very fortunate to have Stacy in that role. She does a fantastic job. And we know that 3RNet, we're going to continue to evolve and continue to try to meet your needs better. And Stacy is a really great advocate for you for that. So not only is Stacy our coordinator for the state of North Dakota, but she's also our board president. So she is in the highest leadership position that we offer here at 3RNet. So her voice carries a lot of weight with the decisions that are made for 3RNet going forward. So that being said, please, feel free to use her as a resource. And if there are things you think 3RNet could be doing better, please get in contact with Stacy, and we'll continue to do everything we can to help you guys kind of sustain that healthcare in rural and underserved communities. So thank you, Stacy.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for the shout out. And last chance, if anybody does have any questions. Okay, hearing none, we will adjourn for the day. Thanks, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your week.